Hey everybody, welcome back to Polytech. This is Dale here. Before we get to today's episode, I wanted to take a moment, especially after Thanksgiving, to acknowledge the heartbreaking loss of soldier Sarah Beckstrom, who was killed in the shooting in Washington, D.C. My thoughts and prayers are really with her family, her friends, and those that actually served with her. No family should ever get this kind of news, especially on a holiday. And today is supposed to be about gratitude, a gathering, getting together, being thankful on these holidays, and I just can't imagine how her family is dealing with this. It's an unimaginable grief. Hope the best for her family and her friends. But we honor those who serve, and we hold all of them close to our thoughts. Because this is such an emotional tragedy at this point, I decided to do this podcast on the press conference that Trump did in the Oval Office, where he talked about this tragic loss. And I want to be clear, and I want to be very careful that I'm being cautious of this tragedy and the loss of this life. And I think I do this with all of my podcasts, but it's a highly emotional time, and even more important that we stay grounded and grounded to the truth and not listen to fear or fear mongering or misinformation, and definitely not political opportunism that we're seeing. And that's why I wanted to bring up the actual video release where Trump is talking about the shooting, and he's talking about the Afghan refugees or evacuees that were taken out during that time. And so if you listen to his video, there is so much misinformation in there. And I think the American people are really tired of this, first of all. And I think we're tired of the spin. And I believe we're tired of politicians, and more than ever now with Trump in office, using these type of strategies to push forward agendas. And you can see it clearly. That's what he's trying to do at this point, where he's going to bring in more National Guards, up to 500 National Guards. And I think we're tired of seeing his administration, every member of it, addressing everything that's going on in the United States. It's very overwhelming for so many people. And that's part of the plan, is to overwhelm everybody with misinformation, disinformation, and just information in total. So let's jump into this after you watch the video that was released with him talking about this tragedy in the Oval Office. Take a listen.
A tragic shooting in Washington, D.C. U.S. officials say that the suspect worked very closely with the CIA in Afghanistan for years, that he was vetted, and the vetting came up clean.
He went cuckoo. I mean, he went nuts. And that happens, too. It happens too often with these people. You see them. But look, this is how they come in. This is how they're standing on top of each other, and that's an airplane. There was no vetting or anything. They came in unvetted. And we have a lot of others in this country. We're going to get them out. But they go cuckoo. Something happens to them.
Your DOJ IG just reported this year that there was thorough vetting by DHS and by the FBI of these Afghans who were brought into the U.S. So why do you blame the Biden administration for what this man did?
Are you stupid? Are you a stupid person? Because they came on a plane along with thousands of other people that shouldn't be here, and you're just asking questions because you're a stupid person. And there's a law passed that it's almost impossible not to get them out. You can't get them out once they come in. And they came in, and they were unvetted, they were unchecked, there were many of them, and they came in on big planes, and it was disgraceful. And if you look, you'll see there was a law passed. It makes it almost impossible not to let them in, not to certify them, so to speak, once they come in. And they came in, and they shouldn't have come in. And frankly, the whole thing was a mess. The whole Afghanistan situation was a mess. It should have never taken place. If we're going to go out, and we would have gone out because I had everybody ready to go, we were going to go out with strength and dignity and precision.
Okay, so in that video, there's a lot of misinformation we're going to talk about in just a little bit. But I want to talk about within hours of after the shooting, instead of letting investigators do their job, Donald Trump jumped in with a familiar narrative, went on social media, and then he posted and also held a press conference, keep this in mind, that the Afghan evacuees came in uninvited, that thousands and thousands of them were actually dumped into the United States. And they went cuckoo in this airplane, and that's Biden's fault. It's his responsibility. It happened during his watch. lot of rhetoric going on there, a lot of it untrue. Not only is it deeply irresponsible for him to do this, especially when a family is actually mourning, but it's almost everything that he said in this press conference and in his social media posts is false and untrue. Officials have already confirmed the suspect was vetted, had worked with the U.S., aligned with the CIA and the intelligence. So he was vetted very well coming in. Now, keep in mind that there was a big influx of people coming through. So some individuals were not vetted properly or not vetted fully. But this individual and many like him who had direct encounters or direct work with the CIA or military were actually vetted way ahead of time and were cleared. So Trump knows this, right? He absolutely knows this. But he's using the tragedy as a political prop for himself and for ICE and for his deportation of individuals. Also, to step up military presence in almost every blue state that's out there. So Trump actually held a photo, right? So he showed a cargo plane really packed with Afghanistan, shoulder to shoulder. And he claims the following: this is how they all came to America. Every one of them came like this. Here's the actual truth about the photo. It's been debunked. I don't know who's giving Trump these pictures, because historically they've been all incorrect, and it's embarrassing. If any other president would have done this, they would have been called out on this, but he's not. I mean, not being called out. So some of these, and it's been, keep in mind, it's been debunked. So some of these viral images are actually from about 2013. It was a typhoon evacuation in the Philippines. And I think that's the original picture he was showing. Others from 2018 showing Afghan being deported back to Afghanistan, not coming to the U.S. So almost all the pictures he's been showing lately are of those instances. Even the few real ones in 2021, a Kabul aircraft photo did not show people entering America unvetted. Many went to Qatar, many went to Germany, Switzerland, and other places, but did not come to the United States. In fact, 99.2% ended up in Pakistan. Just the lies just kind of flow out. So Trump relies on the shock of the value, not the accuracy, politically, how it can push him ahead and get him the game. So that's the things he's actually looking at. So, and like I said before, 99% of the Afghan refugees never came to the United States. So where did they actually go to? Big amount went to Iran. They went to Pakistan. They went to neighboring countries with far lesser resources. The U.S. resettled a comparatively small number compared to these other countries. And we picked and choose who we wanted to come into the United States, mostly interpreters, drivers, analysts, and partners who worked directly with the U.S. troops and the CIA for nearly 2 years. So the culprit in the shooting was actually vetted way before he came to the United States to seek asylum. These aren't strangers. These are individuals that came in the United States that we have full information on. So the lie that's coming out of Trump's mouth for this is that he was just rushed in and he wasn't vetted and that's Biden's fault type of a thing. So these are allies. These are people that we know. They are actually people who, saved America. I know that's hard to swallow right now, and I'm not just talking with this individual, but these are people that put their life on the line to help with our battle in Afghanistan. These weren't enemies, although right now we feel like they are. They put a lot on the line at that point, just like our troops did, just like our CIA did when we went in there. So keep that in mind, please. So Trump also repeated another falsehood, that there is a law in the making that exists that made it impossible to deport these Afghanistan evacuees once they're actually in the United States. No, untrue, complete falsehood, complete lie, and he actually knows this. There's no such law that actually exists. If someone commits a crime, they can be detained and removed. If someone's asylum or parole status is denied, they can be removed. If someone poses a security threat to the United States, they can be removed. So he knows this is a lie. This is just another example of Trump not understanding immigration laws or choosing not to tell the truth. You decide what it is. I believe that he's deciding just not to choose to obey them or to understand them because it falls into his puzzle of helping him progress his agenda. And that's exactly what's happening. So With the holidays rolling along, we should be thinking about gratitude, compassion, instead of watching tragedy being twisted into talking points and political misogyny to be able to fit their narrative, to be able to use it as a piece of the plan and the strategy to move forward, aka moving 500 troops into Washington, D.C. unnecessarily. There's a lot wrong with this picture, gang. It really is. First of all, I have to say, if we didn't move troops into the state, this would have never happened. And a lot of you are going to give me flack for this, but that's the absolute truth. The crime rate in Washington, D.C. was the lowest it's been in over 15 years. The troops were brought in for a show of power of blue states. Because of this selfishness, this revenge agenda that he has, we lost very valuable lives unnecessarily. This isn't leadership. It is certainly not national security. But what it is fear-mongering and scapegoating. It really is. And it's dangerous. It's extremely dangerous for our country. And for us as Americans, it is. Because when leaders lie about entire groups of people, real lives are affected. Policy shift takes place unnecessarily. Communities get targeted and they get fear in their community. We've seen it with ICE. There's a fear, even in Hawaii. That's where I am right now. There's a fear to go out and go to work. There's a fear for yard servicemen who are going out that are immigrants to go out and do their work and make a living. There's a fear, a deep fear that's unnecessary. As Americans, we should not have to go out in fear. I don't remember this. I don't remember this. It's a sad time in our country. Communities are targeted. Let's start talking about the truth. Let's start calling out all politicians that are lying. And I'm going to say that straight, outright lying and thinking they can get away with it. In today's world of social media and everything online, you can't get away with it. You really can't. So let's hold them to it. If you see a post that's important, that has a point and a truthful point, reshare that. Show that you're not happy with the state of the United States at this point. That's the only thing that we can do. Thank you for listening. This is Polytech. This is Dale. Stay informed, stay skeptical, and remember, keep talking and pushing the truth out. Thank you.